So without further ado, let's get started. Let's have a look on what's the agenda for today. So on the agenda, we will talk about the new look and feel. So I'll show you that. I will also showcase how easy it is to find the help functions and some of the SEI documentation that's available. We will also explore the new reporting pack that came out with the release of version 9. And we will also look at new functionality that's been added to manage images inside the product, especially related to our enterprise product Sage X3. Together with that, what Sage Enterprise Intelligence version 9 has released as well is the new universal data models. And with that, you can see there's about 185 KPI or reports or dashboards that's been included, so quite comprehensive for this new release as well. Last but not least, we'll also talk about a little bit about the ETL, which is the acronym for extract, transform, and load, which ties back to some of the warehouse functionality that Sage Intelligence has got. Let's start from the beginning again. For those users that are new and haven't been exposed to this product, Sage Enterprise Intelligence is a innovative, intuitive, self-service business intelligence and data management tool. As you can see, it empowers the users to visualize, analyze, and report on real-time data. So that's what the product does. And then obviously from a business benefit aspect, what you would expect from a reporting and business intelligence tool, we can analyze data. We can secure collaboration between departments or entities and employees for sending out information, which obviously drives business efficiencies through the organization. And last but not least, the key benefit is that the product provides a one solution for having seamless integration of your financial information reports, thus reducing costs and have extra time-saving benefits for you. If we look at the products that are available with Sage version 9, we can see that the Sage X3 enterprise product has got this tool available in terms of reporting, which is used quite comprehensively across our sphere of clients. We have Sage 300, which is this old Sage ACPAC, and coming soon, as you can see, the newbie on the block, the Sage Intact, which is a cloud-based product purely built from the cloud up. Now, when we deploy Sage Enterprise Intelligence, we have the ability to deploy it on mobile. Because it's a web browser-based product, it uses web services and your internet. It runs on most of these smartphones, Apple, as well as your iOS and your Samsung devices, and also tablets. So those are the ways that you can access the Sage Enterprise Intelligence. Now, when we move more towards the universal data models, and I'll speak about that, this is a redefined way of using what we call cubes in the old terminology. They are using a concept called universal data models, and in version 9, they have been redesigned for our Sage products, as you can see here on the screen. So Sage X3, Sage 300, and some of the other products that we support from a microchannel perspective, we all have access to that universal data models. So what is a universal data model? It's basically a one source of data where you can access it. Some people refer to it as sometimes as a data warehouse, and it consolidates the information across different systems. Where you create some of these universal data models is where you have systems like a payroll system, or you have an administration system that's maybe beside your ERP system, which is Sage 300 or X3 or Intact. You can then make use of this universal data models, which will combine some of this data for you, where you can get effective reporting from the system. As you can see, it's role-based. We will touch sides on some of the dashboards, the new enhanced dashboards that's been released. But you can see there's about 185 of these variations of either reports, dashboards, worksheets, etc., etc. And you could make use of these once you load it in the product. They are specific per product, so these universal data models will apply to the ERP that you're using. Now, another concept that we've introduced and have available in version 9 is also the data sync concept, which is sometimes referred to as the ETL. Now, what the data syncs allows us to do in the Sage version 9 Enterprise Edition or release is to replicate, as you can see, some databases, reporting levels. We have the option of consolidating information, also migrating or interface data between systems or from systems, and it's also got the ability to export data via CSV format. So what is the ETL in essence? If I just take you through a quick scenario, is where you can synchronize data from different sources. You might have a data source that is either Excel, it's an ERP system, or it's one of our Sage products. The next step is where you want to consolidate the information, maybe into a what we call a data warehouse or consolidation container. You might want to migrate data from one system to another, or you might want to take that data and basically export or transform that data. Hence the acronym for ETL there. So basically what it does, it synchronizes and consolidates. So it brings all the customer data together, or you as a customer. It can either be on cloud or it could be a hybrid in that fashion. We can report off the replicated data, as you can see. So it's got zero impact on your production environment. It doesn't take any time up from processing in your production environment. That's purely separate from that. And it can also automatically consolidate your server, all server databases and folders, as you can see. So that's on the synchronization and consolidation concept. On the migration interface, an interface is where you basically can take data from one system to another, where you can maybe transpose the data or transform the data. You might want to change a bit of the data that applies to the destination database. So it makes migration of data fairly easy and takes care of that interface problems that you might have sometimes. So the next question would be, what data can I use in this ETL tool? So we have multiple connections options, as you can see. We have options of Pervasive, Azure, SQL, MySQL, obviously Microsoft SQL, and your Sage together with a few other ones. So that's on some of the functionality that's available in the product. I encourage you to maybe read up on that a little bit more, have a look on some of the information that's available out there. What's next in the slide deck is basically the new improved dashboard. So I'll quickly give you some examples of that. We are going to jump into the product and show you around some of the new dashboards and also explain what's new and what's been released in this version. So typical CFO dashboard in some of our Sage X3 customers that you could expect. Financial information at your fingertips, liquidity ratios, cash to cycle ratios. This is everything a CFO would need in order to have access to this information to make quick decisions. At the top, you can see there's filters we can apply. The filters are fairly intuitive and functional. We can change companies, financial years, etc., etc. So the next one is a typical finance dashboard. As you can see, you've got budget information, actual versus budget, performance versus budget. So typically for the financial controllers, CFOs, and any financial staff that you might want to give this to. The next one is customers. We can focus on customer orders. So in your warehouse or your distribution environment, you might want to keep your finger on the pulse in terms of orders, which orders are late, which orders are not moving quickly. You can see some average lifespan of customers, frequencies, which customers churned the most the last 12 months. This is really high intensity data that you would need to run your organization from a day-to-day business. And then last but not least, let's focus on some of the sales, because we know sales drive revenue. So if we look at a sales dashboard, you know, which sales are happening by product, by state. We could even allocate sales or see sales at a map, in a map environment. So if that's really important for you, especially retail customers, I know, you know, which customers serve which regions or territories or even suburbs. That might be important. So that's typically for the sales environment. And then for those accountants that live and breathe in the Excel environment, we still have the Excel add-in that's available in the product. And you can load that or ask your consultant to load that for you if you rather want to use financial reports or any reports that you want to do in the Excel environment. So the data is accessible from the web browser as well as the Excel tool, so you will have the best of both worlds when you use this product. So let's quickly see what's available and what's new in the product, and I'll take you through a short demonstration of some of these added functionality. Okay, so I'm just going to log in. You can see the dashboard screen is a little bit different, or the sign-on screen. My SEI takes me directly into my environment, and you'll notice that the colors have changed a bit, as well as some of these terminologies. The command center ribbon, they made it a little bit brighter, but things that I want to point out is you can see they've renamed the old control panel data models and views. So this is this one here, where you can see some of your universal data models, as I spoke about in some of the slides early on. So these are the ones that are normally linked to any cube or cubes that you've imported or designed yourself from that aspect. You also have the standard universal data models. These are the standard ones that you are used to. So if you're currently using Sage Enterprise Intelligence, might be version 8 or so, or some of the older versions, that those ones are still there. So they've actually introduced some of these new ones. Now, if we look through the desktop, you can see it's been a little bit revamped. Some of the colors are brighter, as you can see, but most of all, your reports and your KPIs, plus all your pie charts, those are all still there in the product. Now, one of the new features they've added is the actual help function. So if I just quickly navigate to the screen here at the top, you can see the about. So they've introduced this online help. If I just click on online help, you will see you get greeted there by Nick Tari, and depending on your question, you can then be navigated onto either release notes, how do I upgrade, what's involved with installation, typical notes or frequently asked questions about the product. So, you know, typical information about, you know, how do I install it? This is what we normally assist you as a client from Microchannel, but you can browse around here and see what's available on the new help function. So I talked about the report packs. The report packs are new in this version, especially on the universal data model. You still have the existing ones. You still have your dashboards, as you can see here, which is the sales manager dashboard. And I just quickly wanted to show our attendees that's on the session how easy it is to go and change a sales related dashboard. A lot of people think it's quite difficult to navigate the product and to sort of configure the product for their needs, but it's actually not. So I'm going to show you quickly just how easy it is, and then I'll show you some of the other nice features in the product available as well. So if I just want to edit this dashboard and I want to create or drag one of my own reports that I've done into this section, because I find that sales by category, I don't like this, the way that's presented. I just go and edit this, remove this widget or dashboard, and I go to one of my favorite ones I've created, which is sales history by customer. And all I do is I just drag it into that section there. And based on my report, as you can see, I've created this one with a pie chart. So based on that, I can then utilize this new dashboard within my dashboard. And also, I've designed this one with drill down capability. So if we look at this pie chart, once you click on the drill down, you can then actually see sales history by product. Nice and neat. Once you've done that, obviously you will save it, and by saving that you can make it public or just for yourself. So just to reiterate that one, I just thought I'll show that. One or two new things that we have available in the product itself is the option to distribute more than one report, and also build a report pack in PDF format. So I'll just quickly show you here how easy it is to make use of that new function. So what I'm going to do is just go to my scheduler. I've already set up an example here. As you can see, I called mine the Sales Manager's Report Pack. So I'll just take you through the motion and show you what I've done there. So I've created a little report pack. Basically, the action that I said is, export and take it to a network drive. You can specify where you want to put the report to be saved. There's also an option if you want to export and email it. As we know, the product can email reports directly from the system via the distribution service we've got. You will then go and select whichever report you want to use from the web interface, or you could even go as far and say, no, I want to use my Excel sheet, and bring in the Excel sheet that you've got. Now, the new feature they introduced here is the consolidated report. So this gives you a little cover page, and as you can see, you can create your own little cover page there by putting your logo, maybe a report back for the current year and current month, and then eventually you can decide if you want to have a table of context also in that one, and decide which fields and reports that you want to include in that. Obviously, you need to allocate that to certain users or financial groups or user groups that you've set up, just in terms of distribution. And you can then schedule your report back. Once it's scheduled, you can save it, and that will basically go into your scheduler, which will then, you can kickstart and run the job if you want to do so. So that's a new feature where it actually creates a report pack for you with the table of contents, and you can make use of that. The other new feature that's been introduced, and this one is a little bit more particular towards Sage X3, is the actual embedment of images. So you can embed images in your Sage Enterprise Intelligence report, and I'll just show you quickly how that is done. So once you log into your system, you will see that you can go to your report. Obviously, you can refresh your report, run it by year or fiscal period, navigate down to your actual product ID, and as you can see, you've got a picture available there. And once you click on your drill down function, you can navigate to that picture automatically. Okay, so I think that wraps up the session. Thanks for joining us. I know it's a short session, but you're welcome to contact any of our staff at Microchannel if you want to get more information around this new version and release, and we'll be glad to provide you with it.